Hey guys, welcome to another video from Overbite Gaming, and today we're taking another look at Undisputed. I'm going back to it after doing a first impressions video because they finally released career mode and create a boxer. Oh yes, so now I essentially have a reason to play it. Because if you remember, or if you don't, I should probably fill you in, they left it basically with the game, but really no modes. You had this sort of contract mode where you get set fights to participate, and they'd update every week, and you could play online and you could do exhibitions, but that was it in terms of, you know, your options in gameplay. But now they finally released career mode and create a boxer, so I'm far more into it. So let's start off with create a boxer. It's not as full featured as you would like. Certain selections are a bit limited. It's generally in stuff where, like, you have this many hairstyles. I'd like to see a bit more in places like that. They do have a lot of sliders to change the boxer's face and nose and eyes, although I couldn't find one to give it my piggy nose. So when I tried to make the nose like mine, it basically came to a upturned point and looked very sort of Disney elfin. So I was like, nah. Just like rolled that back and went with what it was anyway. But you can change your look of your boxers. You can also change, obviously, the body types. There's tattoos that you can apply. You can change your trunks, but you've got limited selections again there. I imagine, you know, it's still in early access technically, although this is purportedly the last update that will be coming out before it actually does sort of get a version 1.0. And you can change your muscularity and stuff like that. Although the muscularity doesn't seem to give you bigger muscles, they just seem to become more vascular. Like, you can see the striations in the muscle if you, like, bang it up to the top. So, okay. So you can't really be like some Hulk boy. But you certainly can make him look extremely cardio. So then you take them into the career mode, and it starts out with an amateur tournament, although it's not amateur rules, it's just boxing rules. So there's no, like, points per punch, there's no head guards, stuff like that. And you know, you go through that. It's super easy, the tournament. You will struggle to lose it. And you can you go through that, and then you obviously start your pro career. When you hit your pro career, you get to hire 3 staff, which is your manager, your trainer, and cut man. They have various fees. The initial ones don't have any fees up front, but they will take a cut of your purse after each fight. The manager allows you to negotiate your fights, so if you want, like, some more money, or you want it to go longer, or you want it in a different stadium, stuff like that, you can sort of counter offer it. And if they say no, then you've lost the opportunity at that fight and you have to pick someone else to challenge. There is quite a nice balancing act you have to do, because as you go through, you are waiting for the fight offer to come in. You have to keep in shape, and there's a sort of a flicker that you can go between keeping in fight shape and sort of keeping your weight under check. So you're sort of like doing a week of this, and the weight's going up a little bit, I'm at max on that, let's turn it back, get that weight down a little bit. You will get fight shape and weight loss during the training as well, but, like, keeping yourself close as possible really makes it a lot easier. The training doesn't have any mini games, which I'm personally thankful for. I fucking hate training mini games, especially if they're unskippable, so not having them is no skin off my nose. It just means I don't have to sit there for, you know, God knows how long doing training mini games, only to be like, win the fight in the first round and be like, oh, great. That was a big problem I had with previous UFC games as well, but UFC 5 did sort that. And each training discipline will obviously upgrade some of your stats, and there are a bunch of stats like movement, head movement, left hand power, right hand power, hooks, crosses, jabs, uppercuts, you know, the whole deal with your stamina stuff and your health. I'm not going to go too deep into the actual gameplay itself. If you want the gameplay analysis, then go back and watch the the first impressions video. This is more of like what they've implemented in the meantime. And if you hear any disturbance outside my window, that is because there's 2 little children that like playing fucking football and shouting outside in the road. Okay, the children outside have now shut up. Hopefully, they haven't been abducted, but I won't be crying if they have been, just saying. So you get into the fights, as you get the fight offers, you get a choice of 3 opponents, you can see their rankings, their basically overall skill rating, and you get a little scouting report which tells you what they like to do, and you do have different boxer types. I like playing on the outside. The game in and of itself is a little bit slow and janky, I think. I would put it like that. I'm playing as a heavyweight, all my stats are low, so of course it's going to be slow, so that's probably an unrealistic criticism to make with what I've played. But certainly, I'm throwing my power right hook, and it is just going... I don't know where it goes, it just goes somewhere else. It goes over them, it doesn't connect, it's a little bit jank, is what I'm saying. But it is still in early access, and they will still continue working on it. I know it's probably not going to be in early access for much longer, but there you go. It does perform incredibly well. I've got it set on... The gameplay footage is like with everything banged up and at 1440p native, so you can see I'm getting more than acceptable frame rates. No problems there. I haven't had any problems personally, but there have been reports of crashing, and they did have to release a patch which dealt with save games getting corrupted. Like I said, I've not experienced any of that, but some people have. It's just a much more recommendable product now that we've actually got some content that you can spend some more time with. I know a lot of people wanted a Fight Night Champion mode. I didn't. I wasn't one of those, because what people tend to forget is Fight Night Champion mode isn't the career mode in that game. There is a separate career mode, and that career mode is basically exactly like this career mode. So it's just, there's no narrative. You just have your boxer, you train your boxer, you get him in shape for the ring, and then you go fight, and then you move up the rankings and try and get championships. Where championship was, don't get me wrong, Fight Night Champions Champion mode was fucking fantastic. I loved it. Where I can't remember his name. Damn it! Why am I so bad at names? You had Frost was the bad guy, and then you had Big Baby was your brother, and then you had you, who I'm sure I'll remember at some point, but whatever. That was just a great story. Plus, I had Eliza Dushku do one of the voices, and who doesn't love Eliza Dushku? Nobody doesn't love Eliza Dushku. It's a ridiculous statement to make. But when you go to prison, and you have bare knuckle in prison against a bunch of Nazi boys, pound their asses in. Not in that way. It is in prison, but you just punch them. Although, because it's a prison fight, they're a bit prone to the old headbutts. You know what I mean? Just saying. But yeah, that was a great mode, but it wasn't the career mode of that game. And I didn't expect it to be the career mode of this game. So if you wanted a storyline, I don't know what to tell you. There isn't one, and you probably shouldn't have expected one. It will be releasing on consoles. There's no... I couldn't find any affirmative date for that. I certainly can't imagine it won't come to console. It is literally controller required, so it seems like it would fit on console quite nicely. And it's also a mid-range price product. At the moment on Steam it's 35 quid. And now that you've got the career mode and the creator boxer, and you're not just stuck doing endless exhibitions or playing the 1 or 2 fights a week that they decide to give you, or having to play online, which I don't like. It's a lot more recommendable now. There's still a little bit of jank. It's not as smooth an experience as you would expect from one of the Fight Night franchise. But it's as close as we're getting at the moment, and I'm sure it will improve. They have a butt ton of licensed fighters. They all look really good. The creator fighters, not quite as good. You can certainly tell they're creator fighters and not any licensed stuff. But they do a pretty epic stare down. They have got the crazy eyes going when they do the stare downs. So that's quite amusing. What else? You do earn money for your fights, which is good because you will get injured as well. Injuries aren't like game enders or anything. It just means that some of your stats will be lower in the fight coming up. As the same is true as, you know, if your weight's not right, if your fight readiness isn't right, everything like that. It just makes the fight a little bit harder for you as well. Which is good because like the injuries are super expensive to repair. I mean, like we're talking thousands, and you start off and you get like a couple £100. It's like, oh, I can't even buy a band-aid with this, man. That's something I've noticed in like combat games. It's like all of the sort of healing stuff. The same on UFC. It's just ridiculously expensive. It's like, why am I paying $8,000 for an ice bath, man? Really? I could go to the bloody co-op and get myself some bags of ice and put it in my bathtub. How about that? That cost me like £10. But it seems to be a thing. But I mean, as you progress, you'll be obviously getting, you know, bigger contracts, and when you get better managers, because you will switch out managers as you get access to better ones, that will go up as well. You do also have gyms. You basically pay to train there. There is an initial fee you pay, except in the first gym, which is $0, and then you have a weekly fee for every week you use it. It's usually not, you know, by the time you switch up the gym, you're usually okay in paying a weekly fee and what you're earning. But they will give you benefits in the amount of stats that go up as you train, stuff like that. So I would definitely recommend picking up Undisputed now it's got that content. It's not a perfect game. It is a good boxing game, and I think now we've got a career mode, and you can seriously sink some hours into it and actually have an objective to achieve. You know, get the titles. I think there's like 4 off the top of my head in the game. I obviously haven't gotten it yet because A, I'm not amazing at it, and B, I kind of didn't do the tutorial again. I just jumped into the career. I probably should have done the tutorial again. But also, hopefully this doesn't get money grab, because there is a streamer mode for the audio. There's a lot of licensed songs in it, or what I think are licensed songs, because I'm not hip and with the kids, so I don't know what music sounds like nowadays. But there is a streamer mode. I put that on, so hopefully I won't have any kerfuffle with the YouTube algorithm.
All right. I went over
it doesn't matter. Obviously, if they want to monetize it, they can monetize it, because I don't, so that's fine. But sometimes it does make it unavailable in places, and considering the amount of people that watch my videos, you know, if it's the wrong place, that's a dead video. Anyway, guys, take it easy. I'll catch you next time.